What if I told you that navigating your clinical research career could be a lot easier, at least emotionally for you, if you objectively looked at it, detached yourself from your ego, and treated it like a video game? So let me break it down. Right now, a lot of people are going through tough times, career transitions. This new presidential administration is going to come through and radically transform just about every department in government. And clinical research is highly involved in this because the FDA and RFK Jr., whatever your thoughts on this administration are, it's irrelevant. Again, you got to separate yourself from the situation and objectively look at it like you're playing a video game. So the biggest hack in all of this is figuring out that it is a game. It's not necessarily the one who works the hardest that gets rewarded. It's the one who is most efficient. It's the one who networks the most. And it's the one who selectively seeks and obtains mentorship. And that last part is not easy because it takes a certain personality type to want a mentor, to agree to mentor you. And it's almost hard, it's really difficult to articulate because some people have an easy time doing this and other people will have no chance getting mentorship help. And a lot of it has to do with personality. And this is why you have to remove yourself from your ego and take an objective look at yourself, take an objective look at what you're trying to accomplish, look at who's already doing what you want to do, and treat it like a game. Figure out the hacks. Now, I already told you the two biggest hacks are networking and mentorship. Another rule, this is almost an integrated rule in this game, is doing things that other people don't do. So I know I just told you to look at what other people who have your particular position in clinical research and what they are doing. If you want to make the analogy to a video game again, those would be non-playable characters. Non-playable characters are always running the same patterns. And that's fine because to some extent you do want to do that. You have to learn what patterns they're doing and what skills are involved in them executing those patterns so that in case you don't have those skills, you can develop those skills. And if you already have them, you can effectively communicate them to whoever's interviewing you or whomever you're networking with when you are seeking to change positions. So in those cases, you do want to mimic skill set, but you don't necessarily want to mimic everyone's strategy, because the way most people apply for jobs is they do very little networking. They don't ask for or obtain any mentorship, and they just sit back on job boards and click apply, mass apply, and spam everybody with an email and a cover letter. What you want to do is do exactly what everyone else is not doing. If you're trying to get a job as a coordinator at a site, I've repeated it many times on this channel, the best way by far is find a small research clinic in your area, and while you're at it, find 10 of them. Go in person. Go physically in person to the site and ask to speak to either the lead CRC or the site director. And if you don't have luck getting anyone that's a decision maker that day, go back the next day and go back the day after. First of all, it shows resilience, it shows dedication, it shows passion, it shows interest. The worst that could happen is the decision maker comes out and says, "I'm sorry," or "We'll keep your resume on file." But you are already at that same situation if you don't do anything. You actually have a better chance of making something happen by going out. This is actually networking in a way. Now you want to network in other ways too. You want to go to conferences, Save Our Sites. We purposely made it affordable for people to come to. You can go to free ACRP, free SOCRA local chapters in your area network. You can network with people on LinkedIn, drop comments on people's posts, message them, say, hey, I really admire this about you. Can you tell me a little bit more about, I'd like to emulate how you got into that role. So if you think of it as a game, you remove your emotion and your sense of self from the situation, because you are going to get rejected way more often than not. And that gets people down. The fear of rejection gets people down, and then they start thinking that they're worthless. And, well, they start doubting themselves, like, well, maybe I don't actually belong in this position. Maybe I should just get realistic and stick to the position that I'm currently in and just give up my ambitions. So you want to remove emotional thinking. Don't let it cloud your judgment. This is why I think, and I've never actually had this analogy before, but I'm reading this book. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a book review on this. It's so important. It's called The Beginning of Infinity by David Deutsch. It talks about how explanations transform the world, and explanatory knowledge is really what separates humans from every other animal. So we can't just use rule of thumb, because rule of thumb, while they are colloquial and they are, I guess, considered best practices, if you cannot explain it well, it's probably just a rule of thumb. So, for example, I want to be a CRA. That's your goal. Well, you have to have explanatory knowledge for how you get in that role. And the explanation is your hypothesis. I think I need to do this. And then you try it a few times, and then you ask others who have done the same thing, and you ask others who are in that position what they did, and you treat it like a game. You treat it like a study, like an experiment. And then you see their outcomes, and you test it with your efforts at that point. And then you can develop good explanations. So a rule of thumb, and basically I think at this point a good explanation, is CRA is not an entry-level role in clinical research. And still, a lot of people think it is, and a lot of people apply, and they don't get hired. Once in a while, a registered nurse will get hired because they joined a sponsor or a CRO that had a program for registered nurses. And then other people who don't have experience but are not registered nurses, or maybe they are but never joined those programs or didn't get lucky enough to do it, think that because someone else did that, they can do it too. But the real law or rule of this game is CRAs need to have experience first. Now, another rule is clinical research coordinators are usually entry-level roles. But before coordinator role, it's called clinical research assistant or an admin at a site. And the smaller the site, the better the opportunities. So these are still anecdotal, but enough people have gone those pathways to where you can study and figure out, hey, this is actually a good explanation for how to get to this role in my career. And then once I go from CRC, I can go to CRA easier if I have a bachelor's degree. And then after CRA, if I want to be PM or if I want to be CTM, this is the pathway to get there. And again, you've got to treat it like a video game. You got to treat it like you are watching someone else go about doing it. Why? Because you can get rid of all emotional attachments to your outcomes. And you can do things like change your CV when you need to, level up on other skill sets when you need to, figure out how to network better, how to find a mentor for your particular situation. You can figure out what soft skills you can get. You can figure out how to interview better. You can figure out how to use LinkedIn, which, if you really want to take this analogy further, your LinkedIn and your resume are like your avatars in a video game. So your CV is not you. It's a representation of you. Your LinkedIn profile is not you. It's a representation of you. You are you. So you are already separated from your CV and your LinkedIn. So you can feel free to experiment with it all you want. Find something that's not working, change it. Then test it. Then do something different. And this is what I don't think people are doing. People are just sitting back, doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting different results, and that's the definition of insanity. So I just felt like doing this video. I think that a lot of people would benefit from pretending like they're in a video game and removing themselves from the results, so that the whole point is to objectively analyze it and take out emotion. And I've unknowingly been doing this in my own career as well. This doesn't work for me to get studies for my site. Let me try this. This doesn't work to get employee buy-in or employee influence. Let me try this. This doesn't work to retain a patient. Let me try this. This doesn't work to screen a patient, to recruit a patient. Let me try this. And I do it all the time with my videos. This kind of topic doesn't work. This thumbnail doesn't work. I do it with my posts on LinkedIn. These ones do well. My memes do really well. And my pictures don't. So, and then my articles do well. So I'm just constantly playing. And by the way, the algorithms can change. LinkedIn has changed its algorithm many times. They used to favor live stream videos. Now they favor written articles. So I started doing less live stream videos and more written articles. I'm not emotionally attached to either one. And I think we need to look at our careers the same way and be realistic about it. But anyways, like, subscribe, comment, share. Happy Monday, Guru Nation. I hope you enjoy this kind of content. If you do, I've turned off ads on my channel for your viewing pleasure. Please hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. Thank you very much. Good luck.